JCPenney has continued to remain profitable and could even open new stores. According to Retail Dive again, JCPenney's Q4 net sales dropped 5.9% year over year to $2.3 billion, as net income in the quarter fell 8.9% to $41 million. For the full year, net sales, not including credit cards, fell 8.9% to $6.9 billion, as net income plunged from 86.4% from last year's $221 million. Consolidated EBITDA dropped 39.3% to $316 million. I hope you were all taking notes, because that was a lot of numbers all thrown into just one part of the story. Yet this week, Simon Property Group CEO David Simon said that JCPenney could benefit from opening new stores in light of its ongoing profitability. Chris, I'm going to go to you first here. What smoke is David Simon cracking? You wrote this setup for yourself.
I did. So for those that want to know how the sausage is made, sometimes I write things to see if Ann will actually say them. So yes, Ann, the question is, what smoke is David Simon cracking? Well done, my friend. I don't actually think he's smoking any crack, Ann. I think
good.
I think
he's got a lot of people's like futures in his hands. So let's just keep off the crack, David.
He's been
Simon.
a very successful guy. Who might have commented on his weekend or evening or daytime habits? I don't know,
boy.
but you know,
please don't tell me I'm on the episode where the writ gets given. That's
but I mean, I think the continued profitability to me is the key point here is that they are continually profitable. And that is a sign to me of good management. And their two primary leaders, Mark Rosen, the CEO, and Michelle Laszlo, the chief merchant, are two people that I have a ton of respect for. And I've said this on previous podcasts, I think like maybe 6 to 9 months ago, Rosen particularly understands digital. He was the former chief digital officer at Levi's. He isn't a mainline merchant like what Macy's has put into position for the past 2 succession plans. And for that reason, I think JCPenney's could find a continued avenue for further profitable growth with new stores. And the new stores also give Rosen a way to experiment free from the handcuffs of the traditional JCPenney's stores that are difficult, as we've talked about on the show many times, difficult to re-architect. You know, for the same reasons Ben alluded to with Walmart. Like, it's hard to rejigger things that already exist. It's much easier to build from the ground up. So there's a way to experiment with what the JCPenney's of the future could be without being saddled with the existing box. So now, redefining the department store is a difficult task, if not an impossible one, but a well-managed omni-channel design of it could still throw off a lot of cash in the years to come. So I think that's what David Simon is getting at here. And that's why I think there's something to this story that is different than what we typically talk about in the department store industry here in the States.
Ugh, I don't know. Ben, you got to weigh in here, because
you're going to trash me.
I'm not going to trash you. I think your points are valid. I still have a very big problem with JCPenney's digital presence and how they're getting the next generation in. Like Mark, great digital merchant.
Yeah.
Generational. Like, I think,
yeah.
All right, Ben, I'm going to go, and then I'll go to you for the last word, apparently. I might as well just get this out.
Keep going.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead. Go. You're on a roll.
If you look at JCPenney's social presence, you look at their website, you look at all the other properties that are out there that are driving TikTok channels, like all the other things that are driving people into stores are severely lacking when you look at competitors, even like Kohl's or Macy's in this case. And I think that the Macy's Bloomingdale's angle, and based on like how they're talking to this next generation of consumer that has to continue this very slight increase in sales that JCPenney is seeing, or maintenance of sales that they're seeing, because they're not going to be relevant to that next consumer. And so that's what I think, like, yes, foundationally, you probably are in the black right now, but I don't know how long that you can sustain that, because you need something to drive people to these new stores. And I think once they get there, if they're just seeing the same old JCPenney product and the same JCPenney, like, meh kind of experience there, just with like some new fixtures, I don't think there's a reason for them to come back. And there's certainly not like an omni-channel reason for them to come back. And so I think that's where the real problem is. I think they're just like kind of coasting right now at the moment. But Ben, we'll give you the last word here. Where do you weigh in? JCPenney, yes or no?
I think I really agree with a lot of what you're saying, and because it gets to the key question, which is where's the relevancy for the brand, and how is the turnaround story post bankruptcy going? So
Mhm.
what are the fundamentals that have changed under new ownership, private company, new leadership that will give us some signposts that
Yes.
JCPenney's on the right track? Um, Look, I don't think you get any of those signs from the headline. So the headline says two things. One is we're profitable when net income was down 86%. The
And they
second
closed a
one,
bunch of stores too. Like that's the other thing too that we're not no one's factoring into this too. Like they're
Yeah.
still feeling the after effects of that. But yes, continue.
and then the second point was we might open some new stores. And I've got a load of respect for Simon Property Group. And I think some of the
Uh-huh.
digital things, some of the miles they operate is great. But I'm not buying, Property Group says one of our portfolio companies might open more property. That's
Right.
yeah,
Fair
okay.
point, Ben. That's a
Yeah.
fair point. That's a fair point. Yes.
So look, it's all off the back. The stories off the back of their SEC findings. So I dug a little bit into the filing. See,
Did you?
is there stuff in there that shows us that gives some evidence points that the world's improving? Um, Look, the sales decline is less than it was in Q4 than across the rest of the year. Okay, still down 5.9%, but better. Um, there is some commentary around cash that says customer traffic is improving, but no data against it, but that could be a good sign. I mean, the big thing in the filing is cash flow. The cash position is much better, and it looks like that's due to better inventory when you look into the numbers. So if they're managing the inventory better, that's a really positive sign that
Mhm.
they're potentially running the business better. So look, I'm searching for scraps. I'm looking for glimmers. The big picture, it continues to be where is the relevancy story and what's changed. But there might be some little things that say that the new leadership is making some positive improvements. But I'd love to hear a lot more from them on this
Mhm.
to understand the story.
Yeah. And my final point, if I can rebut the two of you, since you were vociferously against my opinion, the two of you, I think that's actually why you need a new store. I think your point about reaching the new generations is why you need a new store. You need the ability to create something, craft something in a locality that you can understand if it resonates with them. That's an
Yeah.
important step that has to happen.
But the new
So that's
store
why I like
needs
it.
to look better than the new store that they just put out. Like they need to keep evolving on that new store format. I think that's right. But the one that they just opened in New Jersey, like it's
Well,
just
and that
it's
one
a
was probably in the works well before those folks got there
sure,
when you think about how long it takes to build a new store too. So
sure.
like, from the conception of this leadership team, yes, 100%. They need that. I think they need that opportunity to show what they've got.